in South Louisiana. Anyone who's got allergies, take this.
NAD is probably the biggest thing coming out right now on anti-aging. Normally, like when we're tight in here and you start getting that pressure and you're taking those joints and muscles through full range, this one feels almost addicting.
So consistency over intensity. And then we're just going to roll up and down. It seems crazy, but when you go get massages and they're finding tightness in here, the first thing you need to do is start releasing this stuff. Kelly, thank you. You did the exercises last week and it helped a lot.
Good day, my friends. Welcome to another Tea with Dr. D episode. I hope, please let me know what y'all's like favorite time for these things are. I hope that getting to you at some different times, I thought maybe trying some evening stuff. We can have some tea together. We can talk about a little bit of health and some really good stuff. So welcome. If you have any questions about health related stuff, pain, treatment, anti-aging, any of that stuff, drop them in there. We'll definitely jump on it and answer whatever questions we got. I know we had a few of them. Before we get to that, I am extremely excited to announce that we are going to have our Secrets of Health Heroes event / 10-year celebration, August 17th here at Acadiana Pain and Performance. This is something I've been talking about for probably 4 or 5 years. There's so many festivals and conferences and events around Louisiana that do not involve health-related activities. Many of them are the opposite of health-related activities. So we've talked for many years about having a health-related festival of sorts. And what better than celebrate our 10-year anniversary in a few months. We're a little late, but that's okay. Than to have one of these events. And so we're calling this our Secrets of Health Heroes. We're going to have some amazing talks on back pain, nerve healing. We're going to talk about stretching, and we're going to bring up our Health Heroes panel, where we're going to have some of our most successful aging patients, some in their 90s. We have some in their 70s and 80s who are just doing a fantastic job of navigating the aging process. And so we're going to bring them up and just pick their mind. So like, what have you done to stay healthy from a mobility exercise standpoint? What have you done to work on the mental aspects, the spiritual aspects, social aspects? How have you gotten to be in your 90s and beyond and still be active and healthy? Give us the secrets. We want to know how to handle some of this stuff. So that's August 17th. We'll drop a link to schedule. You will need to book your seat. We do have limited seats for this. We want everybody to be able to come in. We're going to have some really good food. Y'all have heard me talk on here about my favorite kind of alcohol alternative that leads us to a little bit of better aging. So we're going to talk, we're going to have some of that available. You can come, you'll be able to sign up to go do sessions during the event. We'll be offering cryo sessions and PEMF and infrared, and anything that we offer, you'll be able to sign up for, and the team will come grab you at the right time and get you over there. And if you've ever wanted to bring someone to try a cryo session, if you've ever wanted to come and just take a tour of our full facility, we'll have some great talks, and we're going to be doing a bunch of really neat things. We got all kind of door prizes and all kind of really fun stuff. So I'm beyond excited. This is going to be an amazing event, and hopefully the first of many, but it's really great education. The speakers are going to knock it out of the park. So that's August 17th, 11 a.m. I believe is check-in time. The talks and festivities will start at 11:30. So make sure you follow the link. We'll have one down below this, wherever you're watching this. If you are on Instagram, maybe go check out my link tree, and we'll have that in there. Book your seat, book your friend's seat, book your mom's seat, get it on there, and we will see you August 17th, 11 a.m. So that's my massive, super exciting pitch for the Secrets of Health Heroes event. It's going to be incredible. So if y'all have questions, if y'all have anything, let us know, chat with the office, and we will definitely be helping people set up and get registered and all that fun stuff. So super exciting. Anyway, on to the show. If you have questions, if you want to just drop me a line, say hi. Thank y'all for tuning in and jumping in with us. We're really excited about some of the upcoming events around Acadiana Pain. So this is a way for us to answer questions about health and improving healing for everybody. So if you have any questions, let me know. But we are going to dive into some of the content and questions that people had submitted. If you have questions, text us. I do get these. These are me answering these text messages. So 801-691-7582. Shoot me a message and we will definitely kind of get to some of the questions that we have coming in. So we got a bunch about this, probably because we've been talking about the kind of secrets of health heroes and aging, and a lot of my content has been longevity related lately. For that reason, let's all get in the right frame of mind as we go through this. And so I got probably 5 or 6 questions in the anti-aging category. What's the best things I can do? What should I take? How do I think about aging? And there's a couple things I want to go through with this before we get too far into it. So one thing to know when we're talking about aging is that people who age better, people who age and live to 100 and beyond, the blue zones and all that stuff, they don't actually pass away from different things. They don't die from any different things than everyone else does. They just die from them much later than everyone. And so one thing is that we don't actually have to like reverse aging, and like even anti-aging kind of sounds like this is like we're going to get in this position where aging is not happening. That's not what the goal is with it. All we have to do is slow things down. We just have to slow aging down. And that makes it to where we're 95 and we're active and we feel really good. Y'all will hear from some people like this if you come August 17th. So that's the first thing to know is like, it's not this major difficult thing to stop or reverse aging. When we start looking at that type of research, it's really tough to find. To look for research that says we can slow aging is not hard to find. That is in abundance in many different areas. So if you start to think of aging as, I don't have to reverse it, I don't have to stop it, all I want to do is slow down the effects of some of these things, your results get much easier to implement. So if we're going through everything in terms of aging, there's a couple of areas that we want to look at. So the first is the things that we consume. Are we eating the right things? How often are we eating the right things? The big thing that is over and over again shown in the research is caloric restriction in some form or fashion has the biggest change in terms of aging. This is why we talk a lot about doing prolonged fasting intermittently throughout the year. So I'm a bigger fan of you taking 1 week a quarter and doing a reset. So doing a 4 or 5 day fasting mimicking protocol, than you doing an intermittent fasting where every week you're reserving, a longer window where you're not eating. Not to say there's anything against that, but if we're looking at this from the aging standpoint, there's a lot more research in prolonging that fasting window to 4 or 5 days, even if it's fasting mimicking where you're eating, but your body is still in that fasting state. In studies on some of these where in humans and in animals, where we took prolonged fasting times in there, some of the animal models showed improvements in aging by like 20%. Now that's a huge number if you took that into human research. But even with that, we know that it moves the needle, and it's doing all of that through autophagy, through clearing out damaged cells and helping us rebuild and repair with healthy cells. So that's the one thing to know. Like if we're interested in aging better and aging slower, there has to be some version of caloric restriction in your life to get the most bang for your buck. Now, the next part of this is the physical stuff. And I think these are the things that people don't think about. So if you look at being strong, so being in good shape and being in the upper level of strength for your age group, if we take the strongest person in an age group, so 50 to 59, and we compare them to the weakest person in their age group, the strongest person has 5 times less risk of all causes of death. 5x. To give you an example, if you compare a smoker to a non-smoker in that 50 to 59 group, the smoker has only about 50% of less risk of all causes mortality, versus the strong person versus the weak person is 5 times less. So 50% versus 500%. That's a huge number. And just being physically strong and in shape can change your longevity by that much, by 500%. You will have a much better trajectory. And that's just getting strong. Can you be in the top quartile for your age group in terms of strength? And so this is why we want to work with our patients so much in terms of getting healthy and getting back to a strength routine, because if you're not doing that, we know that that negatively affects your chances of aging well, aging slowly. The other thing to know in like the fitness world is VO2 max. That is your VO2 max is your ability to use oxygen when you're exercising. So for that purpose, we can do like a maximal test where we test your oxygen uptake during maximal exercise, and we'll find out, here's your VO2 max. Let's say that's, comes out to 32, whatever it might be. If you're in the same deal, the highest VO2 max, the person with the best cardiovascular system versus the person with the lowest cardiovascular system, is going to be 7 times less likely to die from anything if you're in really good cardiovascular shape. And this is just training, walking, doing exercise, biking, getting into some VO2 max, which is intense training, and then coming down and doing, the 120 minutes a week of zone 2 training. These things they're not the fun supplement that some people might be asking for. And I see a few of my viewers just like bounced out. They're like, oh no, I want the secret. This is the secret. This is the thing that you have to do, which is, can I keep my engine strong so that no matter what comes at me, I have the strength to actually kind of overcome some of this stuff. So those are the things that if you're not doing that, no supplement or anything else is really going to move the needle as much. Nothing's doing 500%. Nothing's doing 700%, like getting in good shape strength wise and good shape cardiovascular wise. There's no supplement. There's no, honestly, this is something I've changed my mind on. I don't even think there's an eating program that changes it that much. I think eating a very poor diet is going to very negatively affect your ability to heal. Eating a very healthy diet is going to improve that dramatically. I don't know if it's 7x, like a very high cardiovascular engine is going to change it. But we need to do that. So the other part of this is cell health. When we look at that, that's where fasting comes in. You're cleaning up your cells and you can slow the aging process down a lot. The guy, Brian Johnson, is doing the whole anti-aging kind of superhuman thing. And he's tracking everything. And there's a woman who's competing against him to show who has the lowest biological age. In this, like, he's got built a little like game system of who can age the slowest, and she's doing like prolonged fasting and exercise, and he's spending millions of dollars, and she's just doing it on her own. She's got like a regular job, and she's aging as slow as this guy is, just by doing all of the right things on her own. So it is certainly possible. When we look at, can we add some things in there? I do think it's possible. If you look at your skin health and your cellular health, NAD is a really helpful thing. I know there's been different versions of whether we should take it or not. When you look at improving NAD, you improve skin health, you improve structural health and cell health. I think that's a tough thing to study in like randomized studies, but we know that if we're trying to age healthy, taking NAD and having better, healthier cells is going to be a good thing. Even if that is, keeping our physical structures healthier, our skin and our tissues. There's a lot of things that if you prevent skin damage and you prevent, skin injuries and infections, that's a big help. That can be a really big help. The other thing is keep inflammation down. If you keep inflammation down, and that's getting great nutrition, that's sleeping well, that Exercise is going to help with that. Getting regular tests in inflammation. And I love glutathione for this, your master antioxidant. If you keep good glutathione levels, it's going to clean up any oxidative stress and keep inflammation in your body down. So if you do that, you're going to age slower. And maintain good internal health. That is control your blood sugar, keep good vascular system. So that's the exercise part. And make sure you're keeping your like lipoprotein levels, cholesterol levels in check, in good condition. I think when you're doing those things, you give yourself the best chance of aging really slowly, aging very healthy, and getting to that like, hey, I'm 95. I feel fantastic. I feel really good. So that's my thought on that. I do think it's possible. And I think you can move that needle 20 to 25%. I know you have some of these kind of crazy anti-agers out there that are like, I'm going to live to 150. Maybe. With the current research we have, I think 20 to 25% is absolutely doable. And that puts somebody who it's not unreasonable that at 100, they're functioning like an 80-year-old used to function. They're active, they're independent, they're doing everything on their own. They feel really good. And you know, that is a certain possibility if we're doing all these things correct. So that's my thoughts on anti-aging. If y'all have any other questions on that, let me know. If y'all have any questions not related to that, let me know. I'd love to hear from you and answer any questions that y'all have as we're going along. So yes, anti-aging is possible. Strength, physical component, make sure you're doing that. Cellular health, keep inflammation down, and make sure you're working on your internal health. And I think you can move that needle if you do those things consistently. So the other question that we had that came through was something on intranasal release. So we do something, you know what? I think I can do this. I'm going to try to do this anyway. Let me see if I can show y'all this. Share screen. So we do something called an intranasal release. And basically what that does is intranasal release really goes in and moves the structures inside the skull so that we improve the joint function. This is just on Instagram. Y'all can go look at it. We'll throw a link in this. And what it does is improves the joint structure and the function of the muscles and nerves throughout the face. That's really important because what that does is improves blood flow to the brain, that improves nerve function throughout all of the head and neck. And there are certain types of headaches that really need this. What we check for this, just so you know, if you've had this, is let's check and see if somebody has eye movement issues. So if somebody looks a certain way, so we just check all of the ranges of motion of somebody's eyes. If they have a problem with that, then likely that they've got a structural issue inside the skull that we need to correct to completely resolve those headaches. We still look at the upper neck. We still look at the sinuses. We still look at the nerves to the head and the face. But if there's a big component of an eye, we see a lot of this after concussions, and that's where a lot of the research is. So when we see those things where there is an face, jaw, or eye nerve issue that is causing headaches, then absolutely get an intranasal release. It's like my patients tell me, they're like, look, it's like a 1 out of 10 for pain or discomfort. It's like a 7. It's like a 6 or a 7 for weird. It feels very strange, but it's very, very effective when you do need that. The joints in your face and your skull actually move. We need them to function well, or they create inflammation and they create pressure on the vascular system and on the nerves going to the head and the face. So it really can cause some significant headaches. I've seen patients do amazing getting some of this where we're clearing that up. Dizziness goes away, eye pressure goes away, headaches go away. So if you do have any types of headaches like that, absolutely find intranasal specialist that does intranasal release therapy, and you'll get really good results with that. So good questions though. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I see y'all. If y'all have any questions, let me know. What else we got? trying to cryo 1 time a week. How often should I do cryo? I know the team kind of like put some of these things together because we were getting multiple questions on these. So this is one we get a lot, which is like, how often do I need to do cryo? Some of this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with aging, which is like keeping inflammation down, and knowing like, am I checking the other boxes? Am I taking some supplements that keep inflammation down? Am I eating a very anti-inflammatory diet? Am I not drinking alcohol or causing inflammation in my body? Then I might not need to do it as much. But if we want to pull from the research, the strongest research we currently have on cold exposure was done by Susanna Soberg. She put out a study where they did a very exhaustive protocol to find out how much time of cold exposure do we need to get in a week to get the most benefits from inflammation, aging, all of the health benefits that you can get from cold exposure. And what she found was that you needed to do multiple sessions that added up to 11 minutes to get the best of the best, to get everything you need. So, if we're looking at cryotherapy lasting, somewhere in the 3 to 4 minute range, you're talking about doing 3 sessions a week that would give you everything that you want. So that's like the person who is really trying to slow aging down. That's a person who has chronic pain or high levels of inflammation. They're going to want to hit that like 3 to 4 to 5 sessions per week. A very high level athlete, same thing. They're going to be in that, make sure you get 11 minutes of cold exposure a week to get everything out of it. Now, if you're just looking for general maintenance, like I feel really good, I'm eating good, I'm taking some supplements, I think you can still keep inflammation down and keep cells healthy at 1 to 2 times per week of doing cryo or cold exposure of some sort. We have a lot of people who get really good benefits from a mood and energy perspective. In those situations, it seems to be that doing somewhere in the 6 minute range is the low range where they still feel a whole week of benefits. So that would be 2-3 minute sessions. I would start there if you're looking for the like mood enhancement, hormone balancing effects of it. Would be in that kind of 2 a week or so. But the best research we currently have, if you're really trying to get everything, is to do cold exposure multiple times a week that add up to 11 minutes in total, and breaking that up into like 3 or 4 sessions. So in general, like just to put a bow on that, for people who are just looking for maintenance, we say do 1 to 2 sessions per week. Usually people are shooting in like the 3.5 minute range per session. So if you're really early, you may need more if you're only doing like 2 minutes. But for chronic pain or inflammation, most of the research is leaning towards like 3 to 5 sessions per week. There was a really good study on knee arthritis, and they had them do 5 sessions per week for 2 weeks. And what they found was, I want to say it was 3 months later, don't hold me to that, but they were still experiencing pain improvements and benefits from those 10 sessions in like this 2-week span. So chronic pain and inflammation, 3 to 5 sessions. Athletic recovery performance, high level athletes, yeah, you're probably in that 3 sessions, get that 11 minutes. And then for mood enhancement, probably 2 to 3 sessions would be a good place to start for hormone balance. So that's, there's different components to that. And oftentimes, we're doing cryotherapy in a cryotherapy chamber. And then if we have access to it, we're trying to do cold exposure, maybe doing like cold plunges or something, and trying to add those up to hit those goals. I tell people to do cold showers. I know a lot of y'all fuss at me. Y'all don't want to do them. But if you're doing like 2 cold exposure sessions a week and then you're doing cold showers in between, it's very easy for you to add that up to 11 minutes and get all the benefits from decreased inflammation, improved mood, improved cognitive function, better sleep, all of the above. So that's my pitch to everybody is do your few cryotherapy sessions, but also add in like some cold exposure on your own, whether that's a cold shower or a cold plunge at home. So hope that helps answer those questions. Hey, my friends, thank y'all for joining. learning more about HRV, heart rate variability, if y'all are kind of tuning in. Can you explain how to use it better? So heart rate variability is very interesting. I think hopefully we dropped a link in there. We did a really good podcast, and that's probably where this question came from, with Torquil Ferro, who really explained this very well. But heart rate variability, I think that's episode 126, if y'all are looking for it. Heart rate variability is the variance between time between your heartbeats. So when your heart beats, each space between the next beat is not the same. And when our body is really relaxed and our body is just kind of calm and we're recovered and we don't have inflammation and there's no stress, those beats are actually quite different in their spacing. And that's a good thing. That shows us that our body is very relaxed and it's recovered. When we get stressed and we are dealing with inflammation and we're having problems, our heartbeats, boom, boom, it's very regular. And that shows us that we're having trouble with that. So when we start to see that, like we sleep with an Oura ring, and when you wake up, it tells you where your heart rate variability was. The new Garmin watch can run a full day and show you what your heart rate variability was throughout the day. I think the Apple Watch has an app that you can download that does this. So the way that we want to look at heart rate variability is to decide where we're at in our recovery and function. So if you wake up and your heart rate, you had a bad night's sleep, your heart rate variability is quite low, that's not good. So they're not varying very much. Then that day, we're going to probably try and turn into an active recovery day. Do your cryotherapy session, right? Make sure you're getting rest. In those situations, make sure we're eating really clean. The next night, we might try and really shut down a little bit earlier and get an extra hour of sleep. We know your body needs to recover. Don't go and tax it a ton based on your heart rate variability. If you have a day where you wake up and your heart rate variability is really high, you're rested, you're recovered, you're not inflamed, then in those situations, you really can start to notice that I can go hard today. I can go and work out hard. I can go and put a long day in and I'll get really good results. So that's the starting point of how to use it. Now, another thing that I tell people is like, your system will tell you if you're doing the right things early. So if you start to take, like, let's say y'all are listening to this and you're like, I want to start taking glutathione and start taking a dose before bed. Very quickly, what we should start noticing is that as you add this new activity, your heart rate variability is telling you good things on average. I'm not saying you're not going to still have a night that's not good, but on average, your heart rate variability seems to be trending higher because you're starting to rest and recover better because now you're taking something like glutathione. So it also gives us a glimpse if we add a new activity in our life and we use heart rate variability to tell us, like, is this helping my system function better? It's a nice way of getting, like, I don't feel anything yet. I just started taking it a week ago, but my heart rate variability has been higher over this last 2 or 3 days. I can get a good glimpse of how much my body is resting and recovering because I'm tracking heart rate variability. It will tell you if something is good or bad for you before you'll ever feel it. So that's kind of a new way of using heart rate variability, is that, I started eating slightly differently. I changed this or took this out of my diet. What is my heart rate variability doing over a week's time span? That might tell me if I'm on the right track. If I change something and heart rate variability seems to be dropping steadily, and I do that for a 2 or 3 week period, and it's not really going back up, whatever I changed is kind of stressing my system. And my heart rate variability is telling me that. If I start taking a new compound, or I start eating, more protein, or I start doing a new exercise regimen, and I start noticing that my heart rate variability is trending higher, that gives us positive reinforcement that we're doing the right things, and our body is liking it. So that's how I am thinking about using heart rate variability in kind of the performance and kind of the slowing aging down world. So it can really be a helpful metric that gives us an idea of how our body is adapting to new activities. So great questions. I hope y'all are tracking that and you start trying to use it. There are a lot of ways. Everybody's starting to look at this now. So there's a lot of ways to use it and kind of find out whether you have an Apple Watch or an Oura Ring or a Garmin, any of those things. You can do it the old fashioned way. You actually can just sit there and measure your heartbeats. I think that's less useful because you have to do it in the morning before you start moving. And there's kind of issues with that. I don't know that you would be able to trust the data as much if you start just kind of measuring it manually. So definitely a better thing to do with a device. So you're tracking it like day in and day out. And one of the things we were talking about on that podcast is that the Garmin tells you when it dips and what time it dipped. And so like in that situation, especially if you're a professional athlete, you could go and look at like what was going on. And if it wasn't training related, like you're coming off of a training session, if it was something in your life, then it kind of gives you good information that you're like, hey, whatever that thing was that happens every day at 2:00 is negatively affecting my recovery. So, now where that goes, I don't know if that's family conversations. I don't know what that is, but that would be a really advanced way of using heart rate variability, especially if you have like the Garmin or something that tracks it like throughout the day, and you can actually see where the real dips were that kind of got you down there. So if you want to get real fancy with it, that's what it would look like. So awesome. Text us if y'all have questions. We are really kind of working on making sure that we're doing this at the right time. I love hearing from y'all. Christy, thanks for chiming in. It is good to know. It's good information for everybody to use. Ginger, Connie, Sarah, good stuff. Thank y'all for throwing some questions up there. Everyone who sent us questions, we will be trying to always kind of get to these. A lot of times we'll answer on the text message if y'all are sending them, but we may still use it to kind of talk on some of these. So if you have questions about it, 801-691-7582. That's anytime. Save that. You'll get a little thing that says like, hey, it's me, it's Derek. Save my number, and you can text me at any time, and I'll get them. Also, don't forget, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your doctors. Secrets of Health Heroes, August 17th. It's going to be an awesome day. I'm very excited to see everybody come out for that. We will have a really good day, great speakers. We'll share. We're going to celebrate 10 years and 10 months, technically, of treating the people of Acadiana and helping everybody get and stay healthy and really kind of work on keeping you that way. So thank y'all. Have a great evening, and I will see y'all August 17th, and I'll see y'all next time on T. So have a great day.